What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about 5 of my current disappointing products and 5 of my current favorite product. It's essentially 5 best and 5 worst with no specific category. I'm very excited to talk to you guys about all these products. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, and it's also super helpful for everybody else reading through the comments just to hear different experiences. So definitely leave all of your thoughts down there and hit the thumbs up button if you do enjoy today's video, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and let's just get right into it. We are first going to start off with the 5 disappointing products. Starting with number 1, we have the Makeup Forever HD Skin Palette. When I got this in my hands, I was fantasizing what my life would be like with this product. I really expected that this palette would be life-changing for me because it truly is an all-in-one palette. You have your foundations, your concealers, your color correctors, blushes, highlighters, bronzers, contours, everything you need all in this one little compact case. Being that it's the HD Skin formula, I was like, even better. I love the HD Cream Stick. It's a really wonderful foundation. It's very natural looking, great coverage, works really nicely for my dry skin. So needless to say, expectations were very, very high. Now, this comes in 2 different variations. You have H1 and H2. This is H1, so it is the lighter version, and then you have H2, which has some deeper shades in it as well. Now, each palette comes with 2 foundations and 2 concealer shades. You can technically use the concealer shades as your foundation as well. So let's just consider that you have these 4 foundation / concealer shades over here. So because you have only these 4 shades in here and only 2 variations of the palette, if your skin tone doesn't perfectly match these shades, then you can't really use the majority of the palette. So for me, for example, this shade right over here matches me pretty well right now. It's actually what I'm wearing on my face currently, but if I were to get a little bit more tan, none of these shades would match me anymore, and so I wouldn't really be able to use the palette as I would want to, which would be as an all-in-one palette. I do kind of wish that Makeup Forever made this more of a customizable palette, since it is quite limited as far as the shade range goes. I wish that Makeup Forever came out with their foundation shades, like all of them, in pan size. So that's my first issue with the palette. My second issue is that I actually don't love the formula. I really thought that this would be more on par with the Makeup Forever HD stick, but I don't find that it's very similar. On my skin, I found that the foundation and concealer shades were kind of hard to build up. I was trying to add coverage, but it just wouldn't add that pigment that I wanted, and so I wasn't really able to get that flexible coverage that the stick normally would give me. And same thing went with the bronzer shades and the blush shades. I just didn't really love how they applied, and I didn't really love the level of pigment that they had. So with that said, my expectations were so high with this, and unfortunately they just were not met. Next, let's talk about the Charlotte Tilbury concealer. This is the new Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. Now, most of the products from Charlotte Tilbury always work so well for me, but I don't have the best of luck with their complexion products. A lot of the times they just don't really quite hit the mark for me. So this is supposed to be an ultra hydrating concealer. There's hyaluronic acid in here. It even says in the claims that skin feels 2 times more hydrated after 1 hour of wear. It didn't. Now, this concealer wasn't a total fail for me. It didn't break up on my skin or look absolutely horrific, but it really did what feels like almost nothing. For a more hydrating medium coverage concealer, there are 5 other concealers that I could think of right off the top of my head that I would go to over the sky that I find are more hydrating. They have more of a smoothing effect than this one does, and it just is overall a very lackluster concealer for me. I didn't find this to even be that hydrating either. Like, I actually found that it sat on the skin in a very lackluster way. It didn't give me any extra radiance. It didn't give me a skincare-like glow. I've been wearing it for a little bit over a week now, every single day, and every single time I put it on, I'm like, maybe this is the day that I'm gonna feel a little bit different. But every time I put it on, I'm just like, okay, it works, but it doesn't do anything extra. And listen, not every single product has to blow me out of the water and make me go, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever used in my life. But we are so lucky that we have so many options for so many different types of products. So if I'm looking at a product, I'm looking at the price. It's $42 for a concealer, and I'm comparing it to the other concealers that are around the same price range or even less expensive, and I feel that those kind of do more, then I'm just gonna go towards those other ones. And if you are looking for a concealer that is more hydrating, that has a really nice glow, I do feel like the Kosas concealer is way better and does way more. than this one does. This one makes me sad. This is the Merit Cream Bronzer. So this is a very, very sheer bronzer. And that's not why I don't like it. I think that a sheer bronzer definitely has a place in a routine, especially when you're going for more of a natural look. I love a sheer balmy bronzer. The problem that I have with this product is that it's a little bit finicky to use. Unfortunately, this is a bronzer that just really doesn't apply smoothly, and it actually goes on very, very patchy. And so when you go in to blend it out, even though it's super sheer, it just doesn't look like there's consistent color on the face. And that inconsistency happened whether or not I put it on bare skin or on top of foundation. And when I put this on top of foundation, because it's such a balmy texture and it's quite wet in the consistency, it did like lift and move the foundation around as well, which I just don't like in a bronzing product. Next up, we have the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Perfector 4-in-1 Glow Makeup. I was really excited to see this product on the shelves. This reminded me immediately of the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. I feel like there are a lot of brands right now that are coming out with their own version of that product. And so this seems like this is Maybelline's version. And unfortunately, it just did not work for me. So this is marketed as a 4-in-1. So it's supposed to be a primer, concealer, highlighter, and BB cream. I honestly don't feel like this works well for any of those purposes. So the product dispenses through this little sponge over here. And I know a lot of people hate these types of sponges, and I am definitely one of those people. It's not my favorite way to dispense makeup, but you are able to take it off if you want to and just dispense it through this little spout over here. The consistency of the product is super, super lightweight. It has barely any coverage, and it has the tiniest bit of glow. For a product that is supposed to give glow to the skin, I just feel like this actually does not give a lot of glow at all. So I found that when I used this underneath my foundation, it barely really made a difference, and it didn't add that much, if any, extra glow to my skin. Unfortunately, it just added a lot of shimmer, because that's what this product has, is a lot of shimmer. So especially to use something like this all over the face is just like a big ol' no for me, because I don't want shimmer all over the face. So if you were to compare it to something like the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, that has absolutely no shimmer to it. It's just a glow. And that glow is also way more intense compared to this guy. So it does actually translate underneath the foundation, whereas this just doesn't. And even applying this on top of foundation just simply as like a highlighter, it just really doesn't do much. I think that there are other products that would be better suited to do that with. So as a primer, concealer, highlighter, and BB cream, this just does not work. So that's why it was a big fail for me. And I do have an alternative though in my 5 favorites, so stay tuned. The last product that I have in my disappointing products is the Chanel Le Beige Blush. I featured this in my trying Chanel makeup video, and I basically gave you guys all of my thoughts there, but I'm gonna repeat them here because I still feel the exact same way. Let me just quickly refresh my memory. How much was this again? $70. Just let that sink in for a second. It's wild, it's crazy. It's too much, really. At least the blush is a little bit of like a different type of concept. It's not just a normal powder blush or a normal liquid blush. It's very similar to the Le Beige foundation. So it has these pigment capsules inside of the blush, and then once you squirt it out onto your skin, those capsules burst and it creates the color. And once it blends out onto the skin, it kind of gives a bit of like a stain effect. It kind of looks like watercolor in a way. And so I do really like the concept, although I do feel like it's a little bit gimmicky because it doesn't really work well for the product itself. I find that this concept works really nicely for the foundation. In fact, the foundation is one of my current favorites. I think it's so good. But for a blush, I feel like this type of pigment delivery is just unnecessary because it ends up creating patchiness. As you can see, actually, as I'm blending out the color, it's creating this like circle of just bare skin where the color should be. And that really shouldn't happen. And that's what I find happens on the cheeks. I find it to kind of be difficult to get an even, smooth application. And so I'm just left with something that I need to work extra hard to make it look good. And once I work a little bit harder, it does end up looking nice. But if I'm spending that much on a blush, I don't really want to work at all. I want it to just work immediately. So for those reasons, I just don't feel like it's worth it. All right, so that's it for my 5 disappointing products. So now let's talk about my 5 products that I'm really loving at the moment. I feel like I talk about this product in every single video. It is the Tula Filter Primer. Now, I've never been a big primer person. It's never been like a huge part of my routine, and I typically would just go in with a moisturizer just to moisturize my skin. This is one of the few primers that I feel like actually does something so great to my skin, and I notice a huge difference whenever I use it. This primer actually pumps out white, but when you start to blend it into the skin, it actually changes color and it gives you a little bit of a tint. I wouldn't say that this gives any coverage, but it definitely gives like an all over color to the face. And that color just kind of gives this all over evenness to the skin without having to go in with a foundation or a concealer, which I really like, especially for my no makeup days. And so this makes a really great no makeup product when I just want to throw something on, but I don't want to go in with anything else. I love putting this on because it makes me feel like I'm wearing something. It gives me that all over color, but it doesn't give me any coverage. It also has a little bit of like that blurring effect. So it kind of looks like you have this soft focus filter on your face, and it works with every single foundation that I pair it with. I've never had a weird reaction with the products, which can sometimes happen with primers. So this is a wonderful, wonderful product. Let's actually talk about the lip that I was wearing because I need to reapply anyway. I'm a big fan of this new YSL lip formula. This is the Rouge Volupté Candy Glaze lipstick, and this is what I've been wearing on my lips this entire video. I'm wearing the shade 6. So there's a couple shades in this line of lipsticks, and every single shade gives you the most perfect popsicle like stain to the lips, but a popsicle like stain that's ultra glossy, as you can see. So it's very pigmented and very shiny, and there's something about it that makes it feel very wearable. Even though this color isn't like a subtle nude, I feel like I could very easily just like throw this on because of the type of formula that it is. It's not an intimidating pigmented like matte lipstick that you really have to take your time to apply. You can totally just throw this on and you get this really intense color with this really intense shine, but it feels really easy to wear, and I love that about this. It's also super comfortable. It's not sticky. It feels just really lightweight and wonderful on the lips, and just overall, I have not been able to stop wearing these, and especially this color in particular, I'm definitely going to be wearing a ton this fall, so would definitely recommend checking these guys out. Now let's talk about the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter Glow Booster for radiant skin. Now, if you're looking for a glow booster from the drugstore, or just a glow booster in general, not even just from the drugstore, this is one that I would definitely recommend. This is way more similar to the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, especially compared to the Maybelline one that I showed you guys before. Very similar to the Charlotte Tilbury one in that it doesn't have any shimmer to it, unlike the Maybelline one. So it just gives a really beautiful glow to the skin. And this can be used in different ways depending on how you want to use it. You can use it underneath your foundation, on top of your foundation, in place of your foundation. It does have some coverage to it, albeit pretty light coverage, and the glow is beautiful. It's not quite as intense as the Charlotte Tilbury one, but it's intense enough that you would be able to see it if you did apply it underneath your foundation. I actually like using a deeper shade as well as like a glowy bronzer. It's so pretty, and this is definitely a really wonderful product. So huge love for this one. I have a new Makeup Forever Artist Pencil love right over here. I've been a very big fan of the Makeup Forever Artist Pencils since they released. I've loved Endless Cacao, Anywhere Caffeine, Limitless Brown, Wherever Walnut. They're all wonderful. I believe this is a new shade, which is very exciting. This is Full Scale Rust, and I feel like this is the most perfect lip liner for the fall time, especially for the lip color that I'm wearing right now. This is like absolutely perfect for any of your like rusty nude colors. This is such a beautiful color. Basically the exact type of color is what I'm wearing on my lips right now. It's like a rusty red, and so I feel like this is such a must-have for the fall time, which is mainly why I wanted to mention it to you guys. And I just think that the artist pencils are great. They are multi-use. You can use them all around the face, whether that's on the lips, on the eyes. If you want to put them anywhere else, you totally can. I mainly use them for my lips, and I just think that they're wonderful. They're not the creamiest lip liners I've ever tried, but they do wear really nicely and they apply really nicely. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about the Ilia Liquid Powder Chromatic Eye Tints, just generally speaking, but also specifically this color. So these are liquid eyeshadows from Ilia, and I have been really loving them. I find them to be so easy to use, easy to throw on. I feel like some people equate liquid shadows with being a little bit more finicky compared to powder eyeshadows, but there's some brands that have liquid shadows that are honestly so easy to use. It's not super thick and creamy, so it's not difficult to blend out. They also last really well, they don't fade, and like I said, this is the color in particular that I've been really loving. It is called Fresco, and it's this beautiful cool tone taupe that I think is just so great for day to day. It's not too dark and smoky, but it gives a really nice amount of depth to the eyes, and I also love it for nighttime as well. And that is it, friends. Those are my 5 current disappointments and my 5 current favorites. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know all of your thoughts on everything that I spoke about today, and hit the thumbs up button if you do enjoy today's video, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.